All right, we're back again with the Glass Bead game. We're on to the Glass Bead Game Society video 2. And what I wanted to do is take my time and go through all of the members of the Glass Bead game. Right, currently there's 220 members about. And again, there's been about 50 billion people have lived. And most of those, and I don't mean this in a bad way, uh, did not have significance enough to attain immortality in the sense of what Achilles talked about in that to do something great, something so profound that your name and ideas live on forever. A lot of the members of the Glass Bead game um, lived 5,000 years ago, 100 years ago, and so forth. And their lives and their ideas were so important that they're members of the Glass Bead game. So this game is carrying on their name and their ideas in this perfect state of existence that we've created here, that we synthesize all of their ideas into um, one perfect reality. And so just I wanted to start at the top, slowly just go through these ideas again and how they all tie together, and just go from there. And start at the top, the idealists. The first one we have again is Plato. His idea, the theory of forms, and what's important about that is that he viewed this state of perfection that transcended human conceptions. We live in a limited, imperfect world, and he viewed um, in his theory of forms, this perfect state of existence of geometric shapes and ideas and so forth. And really, this has been proven mathematically that we live in a well, we know we live in an imperfect world, but also mathematically, um, nothing quite fits together exactly, and we view reality, this grand approximation of reality, and it's infinitely far away from reality. And this was explained in Metaphysics of Being. And so we're just seeing this approximation, discrete reality that we call the real world and live in, but that it's infinitely far away from this perfect state of being and the ultimate state of being in this theory of forms that Plato talked about. So just jumping on to the next guy, it leads to Parmenides. Parmenides believed in one immutable, unchanging reality. And I have a quote here. Well, the only thing that exists is being itself. Everything else is an illusion. And I really find that interesting. He believed in the elusive nature of being an ultimate truth, and it was so elusive that it even transcended itself. Was a great line, and uh, just that it could never, true absolute being could never be comprehended through a limited mind, which just perceives in a discrete manner, because the discreteness is a limit, a definable limit, whereas the ultimate nature of being is unlimited, beyond conception, uh, this infinite nothingness. Third guy, F.H. Bradley, in Appearance and Reality, tried to get to absolute truth without paradox. Um, he attempted to describe in words this absolute truth in appearance and reality. And really, it's impossible because we live in a relative universe. All of our conceptions are relative to everything else. So he attempted a nice try, and F.H. Bradley was cited in Metaphysics of Being being very important, and is one of the top lieutenants of the glass bead game, and certainly an importance of 1 to 10. All of these first ones that I'm going to mention here are 10s, 9s, and 10s of their importance in the glass bead game. Moving on to the fourth one, Heraclitus talked about eternal change. This again leads to the elusive nature of being. If you really think about it, everything is changing, and that is the reason why you can never define, never get to the foundation of reality, absolute being. This is kind of the opposite of Parmenides, who believed in one immutable, unchanging reality. This is the complete opposite, that he believed in perpetual, eternal change. So it could never be stagnant or still or discrete. And it's just elusive, and there's no foundation to it. It's just this perpetual, elusive, illusionary change that could never be defined. So that's kind of interesting. Next we have Zeno, who was Parmenides' mentor. Zeno had his paradoxes. He actually had about 40 paradoxes. We've gone through 5 of them. Really, he's been in all the books: Metaphysics of Being, House on the Hill, the Ontology Dialogues, and Being and Time. They're that important because they lead to the understanding that there's no overall purpose or meaning to the universe, or that we can never conceive of it, and that we live in this imperfect world. And this really is proven mathematically that, well, we just live in a discrete world. For example, the Achilles paradox of how you can never catch a moving object because the leading object will have moved ever so slightly forward by the time the trailing object reached the prior location of the leading object. That's a long sentence, but if you really think about it, there's just no way, logically, mathematically, that anything could catch anything, which is just absolutely amazing, except in the real world in which we live, where we're discrete and we're hopping over all these little infinities, and we just easily, the Achilles passes the tortoise in the real world in which we live. But in an infinite world, in any distance has infinity within it, we hop over all these little infinities and it's not a problem. But due to an infinite regress, you can never reach any destination, and motion and space and all this is a complete paradox and mystery, and nothing really seems to make sense except in this discrete world which we perceive, with possibly a Planck unit being the smallest foundation of this discreteness, that we're able to just hop along and catch moving objects and get to locations that we need to get to. Then there's also the stadium paradox, that if we state that, as we just did, that we live in a discrete universe, how does going from point A to point B, if that's all that can exist, are discrete units of space-time, how do you get from A to B? What's in between? Well, there's nothing in between. So it's just this simultaneous of getting from A to B to C to 1 to 2 to 3, and there's nothing in between. So almost like nothing has a state of existence to it, because So there's nothing in between point A and point B, yet there's something there. So nothing has this dual meaning to it in paradox. And then moving on to um, the arrow paradox, how can a moving object be motionless at any one given point in time is a paradox. And then also the paradox of place. And I like to think of this as where is the universe sitting in at its ultimate foundation. Well, there is no definable place that the entire universe is sitting in. It's sitting in nothing. In effect, if you think of it just infinitely going out into space, never ending, it just never ends and is sitting in this nothingness, this dual meaning of there's nothing that limits the universe. Moving on to the next one, we're on to Anaxagoras, who stated that everything is in everything. This ties back to within any finite set, there's an infinite amount of members. So that's paradox in itself. And then if you view this as like this hologram, where every piece of the hologram has its entirety within each small piece. The entire nature of it is within each small piece. So when you think about infinity and the paradox of infinity and zero merging with nothing and all of these mathematical paradoxes, and that finite set can contain infinity, this statement that he made about 5,000 years ago, everything is in everything, is really interesting. And I, just because of that one statement, include Anaxagoras as one of the top lieutenants in the glass bead game, and he's a 9 or a 10 on the scale of 1 to 10. All these guys that I'm talking about in the beginning here are 9s and 10s in the glass bead game, first lieutenants of their importance. Next one, Andre Gregory made the greatest movie of all time, My Dinner with Andre, talked about pockets of light, sanctuaries within the darkness of mundane, everyday society. Andre talked about attaining all these godlike experiences, and Wally just thinks he's nuts. And Andre keeps explaining how, yeah, I felt like God, and Andre thinks he's miserable, and in a way he is, but he's not, and he's always seeking this higher, perfect state of existence and consciousness and so forth. So Andre Gregory, who was a playwright, is one of the top lieutenants, again, in a 10 in the glass bead game, and has attained immortality for that fact. Moving on to the next one, Friedrich Nietzsche talked about Overman, again, attaining this perfect state of existence. I went through thoroughly The Will to Power, which he believed in eternal recurrence, that you always are progressing towards this state of perfection. Also in Zarathustra, just attaining this perfect state of being this overman, and a lot of people have taken to this concept, and that's where we're heading. That's what the glass bead game is really all about. And also I've mentioned that jokingly that Friedrich Nietzsche, everybody claims that he was nuts the last 13 years of his life, and I question if that's really true, or he, in a way, attained this overman state, and there was no need to have any contact with the outside world at all. He attained complete solitude, I believe. I don't know that much about his life, like Dr. Babbage would know, or people that study Friedrich Nietzsche. But anyways, he believed in this state of overman, which is a lot of what the Glass Bead game is all about. Immanuel Kant, I'm learning to appreciate more and more, and I've recently seen this quote about him: space and time are human constructs, and this is the foundation of surrealism. I've written and done videos about the four antimities, about the paradoxes, and he claimed there's these four real paradoxes. Other ones are, I can't remember what he terms them, are not real paradoxes, like Zeno's paradoxes and those. I think he wouldn't consider those real. I do. But he had his four antimities, which are on space and time and God, and I can't remember them all exactly. I do these videos without notes, but just the paradoxes of existence. Is there a beginning? Is there no beginning? Is there a God? Is there not a God? Is the universe made up of simple parts, one unique, simple unit, or is there no foundation to it? So all of these antimities and these real paradoxes that exist that can never be solved. Also, Immanuel Kant, and Ayn Rand hated Immanuel Kant for this reason, is his belief that the human mind could never conceive of the ultimate nature of being, because we have a limited, discrete view of the world. And I agree with this, because any truth that would be perceived through the human mind would be a limit. It would be discrete, and we only can live in a discrete world, and that's how we function every day. We're A to B. Things have to make sense to us, and that's how we live and function. And he believed that this ultimate being, much like Plato's theory of forms, transcended all of that. So who's next? One more, I guess, Rene Descartes for now, and we'll end this video. I think, therefore I am, believed in dualism. He believed in matter, which had extension, was perishable, was divisible, and he believed in the mind and the soul, which had no extension, was eternal, and was non-divisible. And that's really interesting to me, that not only did he believe the soul was that, but he threw the mind in there as well. And many would argue that the mind is really on the matter side, because brain waves are matter in effect, the same as all of matter. So this concept of dualism between mind, soul, and matter, and where it all fits, and ultimate nature of being, and the nothingness, infinite nature of ultimate being, this transcendent being, is all ties in again to this discussion and paradox of the Glass Bead game. One more, I guess, Gottfried Leibniz, who I've really started to appreciate even more. I've been reading his Monadology and Metaphysics recently, and watching some videos, and he's certainly a 10 in the Glass Bead game. And the monads, again, he tried to get at the ultimate nature of being. Was an extensionless, unique monad being unit, without extension, that was at the foundation of the universe. And he believed that they were unique, and that's why there was change in the world, because a combination of all these unique units is what makes up things. Yeah, much like how do dimensionless points, as Euclid would say, how do they make up a line? Um, and that's a paradox in itself. And how does anything make up existence? What is that unique fundamental unit? And he called them dimensionless unique monads. So I'll end there. And we're going to go through every one of these names, 220 of them. So there's going to be many, many videos to follow in the Glass Bead Game Society.